So, um, so we had, I had gone through the 3 days. I was feeling much better. Now I was also on medication, for the infection that had happened, and I was feeling better and whatnot. So we'll see when I go tomorrow morning to show him the X-rays what he actually sees, because I can't tell. It's one of those things where you know you're not something when. And I'm not a dentist. So I was um, definitely in that space, but I just had this amazing sense of trust and belief and faith that everything was going to be okay. I still can't really chew on this side a lot, but this is just to give you an example. Now, it is easier for me because it happened a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I honor that. The over time, a lot of times what happens is that it's harder for us to let go of the emotions that we've wrapped around it, the the beliefs that we now gain, especially over a long time, that it can't happen for me. I'm never gonna get better. There's lots of intertwining of different things that happen. So I do honor that and I do respect that and I understand that. And if we can neutralize things, I promise you, things can get better. Okay, so freedoms in all areas, being able to do anything and go anywhere with joy and gratitude. Nice. Rid myself of resentment. That's holding me back. Resentment of what? I'd be curious for that. Resentment of what or who? Is there a who in there? So now, again, as we're going through this, I really want you to pay attention to what the thought processes are. Okay. When you wrote what you wrote, do you actually believe it can happen? Or is there some resistance, something holding you back? Is there a block? Is there something that's saying to you, it's not going to happen, it's not meant for you, who do you think you are? Yeah, right, as if that will happen for you. Because what can happen is we gain evidence over time, especially if something is chronic or we've been struggling with something for a long time, and we gain evidence that nothing is changing, nothing is going to change. And so then we create a story around it. And then the emotions get another layer, and then the emotions are part of it now. Now we're locking it in because the emotions are there. So we want to take the emotions out of it as much as possible. So I was working with a client who had, she was she was abused as a child, sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, the whole 9 yards, just not a happy childhood at all. When she was in her 20s, she had an IUD and it was left in a year longer than it should have been by the doctors. And so she ended up being wheelchair bound for 10 years, either wheelchair, or she had double crutches, the ones that lock around your arms. And she had to be, that's the only way she could be mobile. So we had really worked on the emotions, because this is what was coming up for me, is she had held so much anger and resentment, not just to her, towards her abusers, to the doctors, to herself, to her legs. So she started resenting her body, and that was getting locked in. And as soon as we cleared that, that was the root of all of it. She was able to walk by herself down the street and back. So these things are something that we need to pay attention to. So what belief are you carrying that might be holding you back, keeping you stuck, or creating some resistance within yourself so that you're not going to get what you actually want and desire? And then we want to investigate and get curious about what are the emotions that are feeling, because emotions amplify. So if you're feeling really good and things are going well and we're excited and we're happy and we're joy filled and there's people around us that are also feeling the same way, then it just amplifies. You know, those days where everything's going well, everything's in flow, you're feeling in the zone. It's just, you're feeling amazing. And then those days where you wake up and you feel like crap and you stub your toe and you're running late for work, and then you spill your coffee, or your children aren't getting ready for school and you're yelling and you're screaming and trying to get everybody out the door, and you've got this frantic energy, and then you forget something at home, and then because you forgot it at home, it throws off something at work, and then it just holds you back. One of those days. So one of those days happens because of the emotion and the story that we're telling ourselves. So oftentimes we're telling ourselves, oh, this is going to be a sucky day right from the beginning, or worst day ever. Or we're telling ourselves, I've got bad luck, or whatever the story is. So we do it to ourselves. And the good news is, because we've done it to ourselves, we can also undo it. So this is the best part. Okay, so there is hope. Hold on to that hope because it's there. So just really tap into these things, and this will be part of your homework. I'll go through that soon. So if any of these things are resonating with you, I just really want you to take a moment to really figure it out, because manifestation is part of the equation. Everything is energy. What we say, what we think, how we feel, what our beliefs are, what our stories are, who we even think we are, our identity, and what we do. And the energy with what we do it all has a frequency, and we emit it out to the world. And so there is something that is going on that's holding you back from getting you what you want. So this is why we want to unravel things so that we can actually get what we want. Okay. So what are we projecting out there? And it's contradicting, creating doubts, creating fears, creating worries, creating beliefs that you're not going to get what you want. Or for myself, what was a factor for a long time is that I had this desire, but it felt too far away from me, and it felt impossible. So we want to step into the possibility that it can be for you. And if it is something that is on your heart and you desire it, it can happen for you. There's not a doubt in my mind. It absolutely can happen for you. So we are the ones that are blocking ourselves from getting what we desire. I know that was a hard pill for me to swallow. So I'm going to repeat that statement, and I want you to notice what your reaction, your thought, or your feeling is around it. We are blocking ourselves from getting what we desire. Nothing outside of us, not people, places, things. It's all starts and ends with us. I'd be curious to know what your feeling and your reaction around that is. If you're brave enough to put it in the chat, I'd love to know. Hug. I know, right? Yeah, yeah. So what is in your system? Because we all have an energetic system. So we're projecting, everything is projecting our energy. So what is our in our energetic field that is keeping unwellness, mental illness, or mental unwellness? I don't like illness because I don't think a lot of us are ill, well, but we can be. So emotional pain or trauma, like what is going on that is underlying it all? I'd be curious, like really think about this, and you don't have to do it now because it's deeper than what's intended for just this class. But I really want you to sit with this and ask yourself that question, okay? So manifestation equation is we want what we want and we have our desires. Then we have our beliefs. Now, most of the time, the beliefs are what's keeping us from not getting us what we desire. The beliefs are what's keeping us over here, and the desire is here. So it's creating the gap. So what we want to do is we want to heal these beliefs, get them neutral and unemotional, so that they are not having a factor or an effect on us. And then when we take actions, the actions are going to actually get us closer to what we want. So this is part of what we need to realize as well. So it's the action step that is going to also then hold us back or keep us moving forward. So what actions are you doing? Are you doing the actions that you're supposed to do? Are you creating the habits that you're supposed to create? What are your behaviors around what you desire? Because if they're not in alignment, then we're contradicting what we're going to manifest. We're always manifesting. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow as well. We are always manifesting, good and the bad. And it's something that we have to come to grips with so we can realize that we have things in our control. Our bodies can heal. They are meant to. They are meant to. So here's the equation. Here's the questions that I want you to ask yourself when you're coming up against resistance, coming up against blocks, or you're becoming aware of some unconscious beliefs that you're not sure of, but something's kind of niggling in the back of your mind. And then just keep asking yourself these questions. So there's 6 questions. One is the belief, the thought, the story, the resistance, whatever it is it true? Is it true that you can't have what you want? No. And sometimes it might be true in our minds when we're feeling good, and maybe we've done a guided meditation or we've done some energy work, but then ego kicks in. So is it true all the time, that limiting belief? So there are times that we have evidence to the contrary. There are times where we've been feeling good. There are times where we didn't have anxiety and overwhelm. There are times that we haven't been stressed out. So is it true all the time? Third question is the belief even mine? So this is something that we want to really, especially as empaths, understand that sometimes these things, the energy might not even be yours. So I was in the office one day and I'm working on something in the business and I was on the computer and I had this overwhelming sense of dread, not like heavy darkness. And I was feeling really quite good. So I knew it wasn't mine right away. And so I kept hearing this voice, write a post, sending out healing love and light to those that really need it right now. I ignored it for some reason. And then I heard it again and I was still feeling the dread and I heard it again. I thought, okay, I'll write it. And then just obviously someone needs to hear this. So I wrote the post, sent it off, dread was gone. And I was like, okay, well, clearly someone needed this. So I thought I might get like 1 or 2 responses. I think I got like 17 people had responded to that one post. So I was really grateful that I listened to my nudge and my intuition, and I was grateful that I put it out there because obviously someone needed it, but it wasn't mine. So there are days where you're gonna feel like crap, and if you have a thought in your head that you don't really understand the why, like you can't pinpoint a memory or a thought or a feeling around why you're not feeling good, it may not be yours. So just ask yourself, is it even yours? But this is also related to childhood. So these limiting beliefs can come from before you're 7 and around that age. So what were you told? What were you made to feel? What were you made to think? What were you made to question as you were growing up? And remember, you're filtering it through a child's mind. This is not a mind that is mature and able to process fully. This is through a child's mind. So we want to look at all of these things so that, again, we can start to unravel what's really going on behind the unwellness that you're experiencing. Okay. Then you want to ask yourself, who did I learn this from? Or as I like to say, whose voice am I hearing? Because there are times when, again, it could have been for myself for a long time, many years, my ex-husband's voice was in my head because he's a narcissist and he used to criticize and judge me and whatnot. So, excuse me. So these are sometimes, could be family, it could be friends, it could be a old boyfriend, girlfriend, it could be parents, it could be a teacher. It doesn't matter who, but figure it out. There is probably someone's voice in your head. So what, number 5, or what are the examples where the opposite is true? Now, I did this the other day because I was really getting up in my head. Finances have been my bugaboo. And I go through waves where I'm doing well and then waves I'm doing not so well. And I've been doing this for a while. And so I started to coach myself and asking myself the question, like, is it really true that I am unsuccessful? Is it really true that I'm not going to have business? Is it really true that there's no money coming out on the back end of any of it? Right? So it's just questioning ourselves. And the truth is that I was not, but our ego mind's job is to keep us safe, always. And keeping us safe also is not necessarily a healthy thing, but the ego doesn't know that. So our childhood could have been so traumatizing. And it could be an experience that was not very healthy. And it's what we knew and what we know. So I have one of my clients who she was really struggling with jealousy. And every time her boyfriend walked out the door, she was just gripped with this intense experience of jealousy. And she was worried and in fear because her ex-husband cheated on her. And unbeknownst to me, he had also cheated on her, but she didn't have the courage to tell me that part until after we were done together. but she had this intense fear. And it wasn't even about the jealousy in the end of the day. It was about the fact that her mother was neglectful, alcoholic, drug addict, abusive, and, and her really to take care of her two younger sisters. And she used to, I think, get mentally, emotionally, and even physically is actually running the show. So this is why we want to look for the root cause, because this is going to help us heal most of what we're going through, not all of it. Okay. So ask yourself that question. Okay. The last, who would I be without these beliefs? So these beliefs, oftentimes, again, it's keeping us safe, and safe equals ego mind safe in what we're used to in that comfort zone in the box. Right? So who would you be without it? Like I have, when I'm writing this, I have thought of this. Who would I be if I had $10,000 months, $20,000 months, and I'm having this amazing impact in the world, and I'm helping men and women heal and thrive and be happy and grateful and all the things, and that excites me. But it's taken me a while to get there because it scared me too, because again, there my ex-husband um a, has an unhealthy attachment with me and money. So I've had to unravel a lot of that in order for me to feel safe enough to make money on that scale. Because if I make money on that scale, that means that I'm helping other people, I'm impacting other people, and changing people's lives. And I've had to really focus on that instead of, oh, if I've got money in the bank account, then he can try to take it from me. And that was a big fear. So sometimes these things are sneaky. A lot of times these things are sneaky. So this is why we need to just keep asking ourselves. Okay. Now, I've had many, many, many clients say, well, I don't know what my mind chatter is telling me. I don't know what it's saying. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. But when we get curious and we become the investigator, you will hear. And you can even set the intention that you will hear the beliefs that are holding you back, they're keeping you stuck, and they're keeping you in the negative feelings. So what are those? And ask your divine, divinity, God, universe, higher power, source, whatever you call them, for it to be very clear with what is holding you back. And if you set that intention, I'd be surprised if you don't start hearing more clearly with what is really going on behind the scenes. Okay. Now, this is if you're willing to do the work. Not all of us are. It can take us a bit to get used to the fact that we're having to go through this. But I really encourage you. It's a short-term pain for a long-term gain. It really will make a big difference. So let's go through a scenario. Weight loss seems to be something that most people can quantify and have a good understanding of. We've all been there probably at some stage where we wanted to lose 10 or 20 pounds before the summer to be able to wear that bathing suit and go to the beach and all that kind of stuff, right? So what are the habits, the behaviors that you start to see? Notice patterns within ourselves, okay? And those are the patterns that you need to break, that are the ones that are keeping you, holding you back and keeping you stuck. So let's say this person who wants to lose 20 pounds by the summer, so they have a couple of months, know what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to eat properly, go to the gym, drink lots of water, and they'll get the body that they want. And so day one, they go to the gym, they're really enthusiastic. And then the next day they're sore. And instead of going to the gym, they decide to sleep in somewhere because it's also dark outside in the middle of winter and they're cold and they don't want to get out of bed. And then day three comes around and okay, they pull themselves out of bed, but they're good. And then day four, there's another excuse and they don't go. Now, day five, they go again because they felt bad and guilty and ashamed that they didn't go on day 2 and 4. So they get up and they go to bed. They go out of guilt on day 5. So it's great that you did 1, 3, and 5. And if that's what works for you, then see the pattern and realize that every other day is a better thing than every day. And the reason why is because that guilt and shame and anger towards yourself is not even just going to keep you stuck, it's going to widen the gap even further. Okay? Because now, not only are you upset at the circumstance, you're upset at yourself, you're beating yourself up. We are our own worst critics at the best of times. And shame on us. Don't know where we get it from. It's a very big cultural thing and it's societal, but it's also within our families, and we've seen it, and we've seen it in religion and being chastised and made feel bad and guilty over all these things. And we are in a learning phase. So just allow yourself to learn. Allow yourself to screw up. Allow yourself to make the mistakes and see the patterns. And then if you can see the patterns, then that's when you can know yourself well enough to know, okay, I'm not going to go every day. I'm only going to go every other day. And that's okay. We want to set ourselves up for success, not give ourselves a reason not to go, not give us an out. And then because we feel guilt and ashamed and angry at ourselves, maybe we have a donut on the way home on day 5 because, that's going to make us feel better. And then we're going to add to more guilt and shame and anger because we had the donut. Right? We're silly, but we do this. So we just want, again, it's all about awareness. And we want to just really make sure that we're paying attention to what we're doing, what we're saying. And this is going to be a big factor. Become very aware of what you're saying. Because I can tell you within 5 minutes of having a conversation with each and every one of you that I can tell you part of the reason why you're in the situation that you are. And it's because I've fine-tuned my listening to hear for the limitation. And we're not even aware of it. Because I said it the other day, I was talking to somebody through this masterclass that I was in. And it was a 3-day conference. And in one breath, I'm saying that I shifted my my branding to spiritual wealth and that we could have it all and whatnot. And then in the next breath, I said, but I don't believe I have wealth. Like, oh, and of course the coach, as she should, pointed it out to me, and I said, as soon as it was out of my mouth, I knew that I shouldn't have said that. I saw the contradiction. But we do this, and that's what's going to keep us in that stuck energy and that roller coaster ride and the ups and downs, because we've got this subconscious thought. And what I'm also realizing is a lot of it is old identity. So this is who you were. So today is who you were based on all the old beliefs and all the old crap from before. Today is a new day. So what are the new beliefs going to be? What are the new identities going to be? What are the new actions going to be? What are the new beliefs, stories, thoughts, feelings, emotions going to be? Then we can move forward. Okay? So we have to work with our minds and our bodies and not add more resistance or blocks stopping us and breaking self-trust along the way. And the more self-trust we lose, the harder it is to get back. And we probably aren't even aware of the fact that we're losing trust within ourselves. But this is what happens when we say we're going to do something and then we don't. So honor your word to yourself first. We do it for everybody else, and we leave ourselves last on the list, if we're even on the list. So this is going to be so important. So there's a book that I read called The One Thing. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it's by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Gary Keller will pull it up for you. And it's about doing the one thing. So there is something that you know you should be doing that you're not doing. What is that one thing? And that's the thing that's going to move things forward faster in a quantum speed, because that's the thing that's holding me back, probably. Not always, but most of the time it is. So this is your homework. If you choose to do it, now remember, it doesn't hurt me if you don't do it. You might be the only one who knows if you do or do not do it. And it will give you insights into how you're all in or you're not in your healing journey. And how bad do you want it? These master classes can teach us a lot about ourselves. And I see the patterns within the program and how you show up this week. And if you show up this week for yourself, and if you mark off the time. Now, there's going to be days where you probably can't, and that's okay. But are you going to watch the replay? Are you going to take notes? How are you showing up? Are you going to interact within the group? Are you going to share in the chat? Are you going to hold back? How we show up, how they say, I don't know if I completely agree with this, but how you do one thing is how we do everything. So let this be your testing ground. So for homework, I want you to really pay attention this week, at least for the next 5 days, to any of the old conscious, subconscious thoughts, feelings, beliefs, stories, who you see yourself as, and start to write them down. You can write it in the group. I'm going to keep this in my personal group, in the spiritual wealth group, and you can write it out for yourselves, and you can do it every day if you want to as a practice, or you can write it at the end of the week, or whatever works for you. So write them out or do a voice note if you're outside and you notice a thought where, like, now get this, Money is an issue for me, as I've mentioned in the past. And I had this passing thought a couple of years ago. I wonder if I could be happy and not have money. Now, why? Why would I think this? But it did happen. But I wasn't consciously aware of it because it was a whisper. And because there was no resistance around it, the universe went, well, let's see. So all of a sudden, cancellations, no calls. It was like this. I had this veil in front of me. No one could see me. No one was reaching out to me. No one was talking to me. None of it. And I said to my ex-husband, I said, it's like I have this veil, literally is the word I used, in front of me. And people can't see me or hear me or call me. So then I realized that passing thought. And as soon as I realized that passing thought, I had clients calling, booking in, and I was busy again. So it doesn't have to be a thought that you're conscious of. It could be such an inane little thought. And because there's no resistance, because there's no expectation, then I manifested it. Because I manifested it without resistance. This is why we manifest the good and the bad. So let's start changing that and reversing it so we're manifesting the good. Okay? So go through the questions I shared, the 6 questions. Hopefully you had a chance to write them down. If not, I'll put them in the group. And really, when you catch the beliefs, just keep questioning and ask yourself, why? Why do I think that? What's going on? Why is that coming up for me? So the next thing I want you to do, and this is going to be really important, it's going to lead us into tomorrow, is who do you see yourself as? Do you identify with your illness, your condition, your disease? Do you call yourself a survivor? I used to say, when people ask me in passing, if they greeted me, hi, how are you doing? I would say managing or surviving for a long time. Now I say great. But it's because I've had the shift. So what are you saying when people greet you or ask you how you're doing? And where do you see yourself as lacking? Are you lacking in money, in love, health, success? Where are you? What's tripping you up? And then before we leave, we're going to do a heart coherence meditation. And this I recommend coming back to every day. You can mark the time when the recording goes up, and then you can do it. So you're going to get nice and comfy. You're going to close your eyes and change your breathing. So you're going to do some nice deep belly breaths. Inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 8. And pause for 5. Inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 8, and pause for 5. Keep doing that, and this will help relax your nervous system, take you out of the fight, flight, freeze, put you into the rest and digest part of our nervous system. I want you to Envision roots coming from your feet to your seat, going down, down into Mother Earth, wrapping around a beautiful large crystal of choice, anchoring you, grounding you, supporting you. Keep doing the belly breaths. And then the next deep inhale, you're going to bring up some of this earth energy into the feet, the ankles, the knees, into the pelvis. And from God, source, the universe, your higher power, your higher self, coming down from the heavens is this beautiful white light, love light energy coming down through the crown, going all along your spine, igniting all your chakras. And settling in your heart space. Surrounding the heart, infusing the heart. I feel this love, light. And on the next deep inhale, you're going to expand this love from the heart into your entire body, circulating just like your blood. Mm. Feel how good it feels to be in this love. Love from self, love from source, your divinity. Mm. Feel it. Mm. Put a smile on your face and tap into an emotion. It could be abundance, it could be joy, it could be happiness, gratitude, appreciation. Pick one and allow yourself to feel that feeling. What does it feel like? And if you're not quite sure, tap into a memory where you felt that feeling. It could be from your childhood, it could be from yesterday. And allow yourself to feel the feeling of trust within your heart. We don't trust from our heads, we trust from our heart. So if you're not feeling trust, and you know you need to tap into your heart, continue to feel the love, whatever that emotion is that you chose as you're taking those nice deep breaths. Now ask your body what she needs. Voice is going to be soft, or maybe you'll see pictures. We'll hear something now or later. Don't try to think it or reach for it. It'll come. Try. Now tapping into your intention, ask your body what it needs for you to actually get what you want and desire. Could be one word, one phrase. And feel this emotion coursing through your body, expanding the heart, expanding outside of yourself into your auric field. Feel how good it feels to feel good. And when you're ready, bring awareness back to your body. It's coming up from your Mother Earth into your feet. Let me know how you feel and what messages you heard from. No problem, Rebecca. We're almost finished. Okay, so while you're sharing, just reminding you of the homework. Become aware of any of those beliefs, thoughts, feelings, stories, who you're seeing yourself as. Keep writing them down in your journal. And then try to unravel them. And then, who do you see yourself as? Who do you identify as? Your illness, condition, your disease? Do you call yourself a survivor or say you're just managing? And where do you see yourself as lacking? Hi, Sherry. Brenda.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. Okay. How is everybody feeling? Okay, so I hope this recorded into the group Facebook group. Good. If it didn't, then I apologize. I'll try again tomorrow. They've got this customizing live streaming now, and you're supposed to put all these numbers in, which I think I got right, but then it asked me for my something or other. So I don't know if I did it right or not. We'll see. So in my group, the spiritual wealth group, it's called Align to Health with the number 2 health if you're looking up the code. Then I'll just put it in the chat here. I will put in those 6 questions for you to ask yourself as you have these beliefs coming up for yourself through the week. And then tomorrow we're going to tap into how you feel about your body. And you can have a thought about this tonight. And then we'll really dive deep into that. There's the group link. Yeah, no problem. So the recordings, ladies, will be up for 1 week per day. So next Monday, this will come down. Following Tuesday, the following day will come down. Because I know, and it's human nature, but when we have these things available to us for free, a lot of times we don't take it as serious as we could or should. And so we put everything else behind, and then this gets more and more behind, and then you don't watch it, and then it doesn't help. So it wanted to help. Okay, so that's the link. If you want to go in there, I'll go in there now and put in those 6 questions. And if you know anybody who wants to join, you're more than welcome to invite anybody that you want. I will be more than willing to and happy for anybody else to join. I don't think once you registered, there's a section I think you could do every day that you're getting the link for it. Hopefully you did that, and if you didn't, then you might have to re-register and then come back in, okay, for tomorrow. Okay, so thank you for showing up. Thank you for putting you first. Thank you for honoring yourself and for wanting to heal because you can. That is the truth. So have a blessed day, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.